Huh?
Intern tatay.
Hi y'all. Alright, thank you all for coming out tonight. It's Scott. If you don't know me already, I'm really excited to introduce myself to you. So, when I first technically joined Troy Phi, I was actually still in high school, fun fact. Coming from a school like Stephen, where I was the only Filipino, I knew I wanted to get really involved in a Pinoy org at USC. So once I knew I was coming here, I found Troy Phi online and attended my first event, which actually took place almost exactly 2 years ago. It was E-Night. And as soon as I joined the meeting, I got to see how much of a community the club was, because once that intern video played, the chat just went off with a waterfall of support. And even though it was a pretty big meeting, it seemed like everyone knew each other, and it was beautiful. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, I don't know anyone here. This meeting probably isn't for me. So now I'm contemplating whether or not I should leave, and just in time, I get this direct message in the chat from someone named Rankfa. It read, who are you? My anxiety just skyrocketed, but I introduced myself, and soon enough, we're bonding. She lets me know that I was in fact allowed to stay, and so I end up enjoying the entirety of the show. And I even got to meet some of the members after the official meeting. And while they didn't know me, they still made me feel like I was already part of the community. And that's when I knew that even though I'd be traveling across the country to California, I'd have a home waiting for me there. As your IVP, my mission would be to foster that sense of community that I felt when I first joined Troy Phi and make this club a home with its members being a family. After getting this nomination, I took the time to talk with our wonderful current IVP, Nini, and discuss what the job really entails to ensure that it was something I could do justice to, given my sometimes chaotic schedule. And after speaking to her, I feel confident that this job is something I can contribute greatly to. To start, I believe that my diverse background could be really helpful for our leadership board and office hours program. For example, I'm a humanities major, but I also take STEM courses as a pre-med student, and I'm deeply invested in the arts as a music lover, which is why I joined Dance Off this semester. This diversity not only helps me relate to a broader group of people, but I also feel better prepared to give good advice about more things. I'm also willing to recognize areas where I don't have a lot of background in and would rather refer you to someone with more knowledge. A large part of IVP also includes dealing with interpersonal conflicts within the club. When I deal with conflict right now, I do my best to look at all perspectives, to empathize with where people are coming from. And this would be no different if I were IVP. Just this semester, we had internal issues concerning one of our board members, and I took it upon myself to call a variety of people to try to gain a better understanding of the situation before committing to an action. I'm also someone who will speak up for you. Even though I am sometimes scared to say what's on my mind, I push past that fear if it means adding something of value. And I found that sometimes I've been thinking the same thing other people have been thinking. It's just that no one wanted to say anything yet for whatever reason. For example, this semester, I recognized the hard work of one of our interns, Kayla Perino, and held a closed forum with our executive board to have them be promoted to a board member. I barely had to argue because, as it turns out, everyone agreed, and we unanimously voted to promote them. Someone just had to be the first to bring it up. When it comes to my ideas, I want to start by addressing a big concern that comes with any large organization, and that's safety at parties. We've already begun the process of creating a blacklist with other clubs, and I plan on further developing this next year. This is something I will be taking very seriously, and I'll be making myself available to listen to how y'all feel. On this topic of feelings and emotions, I chose psychology not only because I think it's interesting, but because I know it's important. With that being said, my plans as IVP also include implementing a way for me to respond to our How's Your Heart section of the newsletter if you wanted me to, while maintaining your anonymity. I think our current system is great in that it provides a safe space for our members to vent about whatever's on their mind. So I want to expand that by creating an opportunity for even more meaningful human connection. I also see the role of IVP as a direct representative of our members, which is why I plan on establishing an additional way for people to voice their concerns, opinions, or recommendations for our club. This would be a separate form in the newsletter that would coincide with our How's Your Heart, and would enable you to express your feelings towards any aspect of the club, anonymously or not. I then take these suggestions to the rest of the board and back it up with your reasoning, along with any additional reasoning I come up with that I think might be helpful. Because Troy Phi made itself a home for me, I want to give back and help make it a home for others, and that starts with you. Thank you all for your time.